hey, you gotta think about it. Think about it.
Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to do a quick, pickups video, just stuff that I've been gathering over the last few weeks, and perhaps some bits which I've had a bit longer that I've either just kind of forgotten about or hadn't properly got to prior to my last pickups video. So it turned out to be a slight game room tour as well, because I thought I'd just go to the items or the objects as to where they're currently sitting on the shelves. So yeah, I'll turn the camera around and we'll take a look. So I would have shown some of this before. So this is the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, 3DS shelf, mix of handheld stuff mainly. And right at the top, we've got some of the Game Boy games, a few more than this on display. I'm trying to, you're probably getting a bit of glare because I've got the box protectors on. But yeah, with this I'm trying to do a bit of crop rotation just to keep things interesting and moving some of the front facing titles and titles at the side around a little bit. I can't remember if I had like Dragon's Lair for the original Game Boy on the last vid I picked up that I did, but yeah, it was one of the purchases that I made. We'll grab it off the back of the eBay sales. So yeah, as you can see, it's a bit of a platformer. I've only really just stuck it in to check the ruddy thing worked. I'm not anticipating great things from this one, but yeah, just nice in the collection. Lovely, nostalgic, box art. I've got a lot of time for this game through the arcade, albeit frustrating as hell, and arguably a very different type of game, but a good one. Nonetheless, we're back in the arcades and on the Amiga, on my mate's Amiga. But yeah, thought I'd pick this up. I need to get further involved in it. But there's that one. I'll sort them out in a bit. We're going to go diving otherwise. This one, I could have sworn I had. I couldn't even find a loose copy of it. But I was just going through some of the classics, I guess, for the Game Boy, and think, okay, what have I got? And when I was doing my little recce, yeah, I realised I didn't have Dr. Mario. I'm sure I must have had it certainly like loose at some point, because it's a game I'm very familiar with, so God knows what happened to the original cart. But this one came up, and it was from Miso Retro in Billericay. They've got like a website as well, so I bought a couple of bits. They're doing a great job, not just generally, but in terms of doing like discounts and like daily offers. There's always been something on the go. So this, either it was a percentage discount or buy two and get a third one free. So I nabbed this. It's in really nice. See, the protector hides any sins, but it's in a very nice condition. Bit of distribution company sitting on a little sticker. Probably get that off. Doesn't look too aggressive on the old cardboard. But yeah, really chuffed with that. Again, yeah, with this one, I'm not entirely sure if it was showing. So yeah, one of the 3DS games which is really going up in value is the Guide to the Louvre, so obviously the Parisian Museum. And when this was active, and visitors would basically go in, and you could get or hire, probably pay a few euros. I'm assuming it was after the French franc days, for euros, and you could just have a 3DS with you that had this game in it. And as you walked around the museum, which obviously includes the Mona Lisa, it would give you some kind of facts and figures and bits about what you were looking at. So it's a bit of a rare game. They came in different languages, obviously depending on the tourist or the language of the tourist. So this is this is the French edition. And it was Steve from Cooper's World who actually said, you know what, there was some sleeves that came with these things, and I luckily managed to track one down for a good price, far cheaper than the game. So yeah, it houses it quite nicely. And then going down, I'm trying to think what I didn't show before. I'm sure I had most of these. I probably didn't have Planet of the Apes, again a fairly cheap game for the Game Boy Color. and it plays a little bit like an old styly Prince of Persia with the platform. It's very like basic. It just looks kind of okay. So the gameplay is, I don't know if you're into that kind of thing, which I am. It's actually quite decent. If you don't like Prince of Persia, then this isn't a game for you. But it must have been released at the time of the first remake of the Planet of the Apes, whenever that came out. So nice condition. So cheapish game, about 15 or so quid. So I thought I'd pick that up. And I think, maybe this is the only other. So we've got Wings of Fury. I'm sure this came out on the Amiga. It was like an Amiga game as well. It's got a whacking great game station. Tooty, don't be offended. I will get rid of that. Get that sticker off. Probably causing him palpitations. But yeah, haven't got round to it. But lovely version of the game. And in the simplest terms, it plays a little bit like a choplifter, apart from swapping a helicopter for a plane. But it's pretty good. I wondered if it might be related to, there's a Wings game, not Wings of Fury, there's a Wings game for the GBA, the Game Boy Advance, but I think it's from a different like series and different developer. That one's a bit more obviously advanced, but like first person aerial kind of shooter, and then you get the odd level where it switches to like an isometric view. But this one's not too bad at all. So I'm pleased with that. I think I did get for the Barbie 3DS game. Crumbs, rather not talk about that one, it gives me indigestion. But for the same seller that had the Louvre one, there was also the Barbie one, and then we've got like my little neighbour Totoro at the bottom. No real changes here. They're still stacked up. I've got the old PC Engine, the Analog Duo, all set up now. But I'm using the one of the arcade sticks. I haven't actually tried the gamepads yet, but they should work. I think they were designed with that in mind. So Super Metroid, been around for a while, and then up here we've got the one of the many very generous Secret Santa gifts I got from the UK. Secret Santa, whoever that awesome dude or dudess is, a bit of Pac-Man, so happy with that. And then I did a bit of work for a friend, kind of supported him a couple of weekends over the summer with some like videoing and some editing stuff for a project he was working on, and he gave me, he didn't really give me anything, but he gave me some Forbidden Planet vouchers. So I've kind of upgraded my King Kong, and I've ordered something that's going to sit to the left of King Kong, which you'd probably guess what it is. That will make the pose that King Kong's in, you'll be able to see exactly what that's about, and it'll be a bit more meaningful, and it should look freaking awesome, I hope. So I'm chuffed at that. And then I think on this is new. This is really, Game Boy OCD-ness, isn't it? But I'm after, there's not that many of them, but the original Game Boy accessories. So I've got like the camera, but I haven't got the box for it, so I want to kind of hunt that down. And there's the printer as well. I haven't got the printer loose or in box, but this is one of the other ones, which I never had back in the day. This one either won't work or will explode if you try and plug it in. I might be wrong, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it nicely boxed. The battery pack, so you could travel with your Game Boy and get even more hours, just to stick your fingers up at any Game Gear owners as to how many hours you can get from this extra juice. But it's a cool looking. I do like the design, not just of the box but of the charger itself. It's pretty wicked. But saw this on Vinted and had to grab it. Again, it's another Nintendo UK. What's the chances? Distribution company details there. So that's that. Let's put this down over here. Trying to think, probably not many changes there. Eddie Rollercore pointed out that Yeah, the old display of the Mega Drive games wasn't as good as it was originally, where I had them all, I think in one of the last videos, all kind of side by side, but just because I bought a few extras. Yeah, it's not the case. But that said, I have rejigged it, so again I'm trying to crop rotate, but we've got 3 that are forward and facing. Golden Axe is a new one which I picked up from the Retro Hunter. I thought I had it, I really did, but I think I just had it on the Mega Drive as opposed to the Japanese version. But pretty common game, pretty cheapy game from Ali, which is cool. So I picked that one up. I think Granada I'd showed on a previous video, as well as Super Shinobi 2. So I don't think there's any other new ones there. If we go down a bit, I'm trying to display my handhelds in a slightly different way. These are from Vinted. In fact, with a doubled up with a DS game that I'll show you in a second. But these AR cards, they came with, sorry about wobbling the camera left, right, and centre. But they came with the original DS, and there was like an AR application built into the handheld. So that just really is a guide showing you how to use them. I think it was like five or six in total, and you basically put the camera of the 3DS onto the card, and then little augmented reality game would kick in. But yeah, just nice. They're really, like, again, Vinted. This with the other game, it was about a £5, and I'd forgotten about it. When the other game turned up, they were actually inside, and opened it to look at the cart, and I was like, yes, they're pretty awesome. But yeah, these are decent. So you got like Samus. Is it the Pikmin bods? I think it's them. So yeah, I thought that was quite cool. And I was spending my Christmas spoils, so I got a voucher from my wife for the Retro Hunter, and picked up a few bits. But this was probably the one I was the most excited by. It was the Game & Watch. But my first panoramic or panorama screen one. It's so you can see Charlie Brown, a Snoopy game, one by Charlie Brown. He's we're not going to be able to see it in the light. He's playing the piano. All the notes are kind of flying into the air, and then you've got like Woodstock. We just about see that actually. Woodstock's asleep, and Snoopy's got to hit the musical notes before it hits one of the Woodstocks, because there seems to be several of them, and wakes them up. So you got to dash left, right, and centre, and whack them with your hammer. But it was good. I mean, there was a bit of it was far cheaper than I was expecting, because these can go for between like 120, 150 quid, sometimes a bit more when they're unboxed. So this was like, I think 65 or 70. So it was in the shelf, and I said to Ali, look, can I have a look at it? And straight away he was just like, look, it's cheaper because of the ribbon cable seems a bit tight. When you open it, you're not getting the full image. So I'm no bloody technical expert, but viewers of the channel will be able to confirm. But I literally just took the various bits off, and there was a little bit of pull in the ribbon, so I managed to loosen it slightly without unplugging anything, and screwed it all back together. It took me about 15 minutes because I was so careful. I didn't want to like go from having a partial issue with it to like no bloody game at all, and it works. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. I need to get rid of that, whatever that CGL sticker is. So that's looking good. They're all a bit jumbled at the moment. I think I'll just set the game off. A bit of Snoopy tunes for you. And the boxing game, that was a Facebook Marketplace piece, which I got not that long ago. I'm just going to jump cut whilst we wait for Snoopy to finish his musical delights. 2 seconds. Right, Charlie Brown has finished on the piano, so we'll continue. So these one, again, a combination of bits. These here were all from Vinted, and I'm trying to think. I think they were from the same. I'm lying, actually. I was going to say they're from the same seller. They're not. So we'll put that to one side. We'll come to that in a sec. This was just from one Vinted seller, as you can see, like a box 3DS. The box a little pushed in there, but I think I can give it basically just unravel it maybe a bit of a tooty iron, and then reassemble it, and I think it will look absolutely bloody beautiful. It's like, it's a European version, so it's got like a German, it's either a German or a French, probably German looking at that, power plug. I've got so many like 3DS, DS power plugs, it's really not an issue. It's a really good price. Appeals to my love for all things pink, he says tongue-in-cheek. And yeah, really, really good. All, I charged it up the other day, so hopefully it should famous last words. Hey, it's powering on. Haven't done like the setup, hadn't charged for it to come out, but well chuffed with that. So I can get it to set up, get that all going. Yeah, no, I haven't got enough DSs and 3DS. They're all around the bloody room. Anyway, back to this one. So obviously like a DS little pouch holder, Hello Kitty. I think somewhere, if I won't unravel it now, within there you've got like the label. It seemed like it was a legit one, but yeah, just a bit of a nice collectible, I guess. And with it, the same seller got this for my son. It's got into the DS and 3DS, so we didn't have this one. Hopefully it's okay. Looks pretty colourful, but it was from this seller that also had all the bring them back on camera, the AR cards. So they tucked them in here, which was cool. I bought a box version of this World Cup. Again, it's a fairly common game for the Game Boy. It was either last year or the year before. I think it was last year. And yeah, the cart in it was a bit scrappy, and the manual was a bit dogged, and this was like super cheap. I think eBay, so I jumped on that. This one, yeah, I'm going to get this on the shelf shortly. But the other Dragon's Lair, so the one I showed you before was the Game Boy, original Game Boy one. This is the Game Boy Color, and it's absolutely amazing if you like again, like the original, like arcade. But they've just done just a same kind of gameplay. I remember a lot of the various elements from the arcade, and again from the Amiga version. But it's, yeah, for the Game Boy Color, and it looks beautiful. It looks really good. If I remember, which I probably won't, I'll get some footage on the screen to show you what I mean. It's got like a tutorial in there as well, so there were certain bits of the original game which I was just really bad at, and that's even, you know, spent loads of money in the arcade, you can only get so far, but with the tutorial it shows you, you know, what direction to do and what time, so it helps you, a bit of a coach, I guess, for the game. So if I ever see the arcade again, and I did see that, was it James Retro Import Gamer had one of these at the Retrocade, or like the mini smaller version of Dragon's Lair. But if I ever play the proper arcade again, I'm hoping once I'm sufficiently trained through this, I'll be able to do a good job of it. Nothing new down there, I don't think, for the Game Gear. Up here, there's this bad boy, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than the less value than the Master System one. But Streets of Rage 2, and for the Game Gear, same version as far as I'm aware as the Master System one. It gets a bad rap. A lot of people really hate this game, but I don't know, I quite like it. It can be a bit unfair if you get cornered. You can get, you know, you can go from having quite a decent game with loads of lives to absolutely knout. But yeah, it was a really good price, not just compared to the Master System one, but yeah, for the Game Boy itself, it's not the best box. Again, I probably do something with it. I've chucked it in a protector. The biggest wound is is in the corner. But yeah, pleased to get that back. Got a little droid there from Ahsoka. It's quite a colourful one. Can't remember his bloody name, but chuffed with that. And I think for the final piece, probably a couple of games, nothing too crazy, more for Game Gear. It's like an American release. I don't think, if anyone knows in the comments, I'm talking BS, shout, but I don't think it's got a UK release. We're not so into our baseball over here as our US cousins. So yeah, kind of a US release of Clutch Hitter. Going to be quite a good game by all accounts. So haven't fired it up, gone straight into the box protector. I think Spider-Man already had. And then, yeah, surprisingly, not the most expensive Sonic game for the Game Gear, but it seemed to be one of the more expensive ones. And I don't know if this is, I know Columns was a pack-in for a lot of the Game Gear systems, but I know equally Sonic was, I think, for a few as well. So I don't know if that meant that, you know, they were in quite a few people's hands, and when they were like cart only. I don't think you would have got the box itself within a system one, so maybe there was fewer volumes. I don't know, just very, very strange. I've been looking at this game for a few months and just been surprised at the value of it, so there must be something going on with it, but pleased to get it in the collection. Not a loose cart for yonks, but nice to get a, you know, decent box one. I say it wasn't crazy money, it was just a bit more than I typically spend on Game Gear games. It was about 40 quid, where a lot of the Game Gear games, you know, like 20 to 30, like some under. So yeah, a bit of a surprise with that one. And that is it, peeps. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else on there. Got some PC Engine coming in, so I might do a PC Engine vid and having a bit of a sort out of my collection there. So we'll come on to that. I've picked an awesome gift that someone sent through to me right beginning of this week. It's kind of toy related or cartoon related, so it'll make a bit more sense once we get to that video. And then, yeah, something completely different. I don't think it's going to be a series, maybe a mini series, but something which I picked up from, or series of things I picked up from China, just for a bit of a funny one. So they arrived today, so there'll be a video or videos on that. I might just, yeah, taken a bits of footage as I've been going through the experience. I'll say no more, but yeah, I'll consolidate that footage into a vid. So I'll see you later. Official John Rambo says goodbye, and then Bootleg John also says goodbye, and I'll say goodbye as well.